16 points in the second quarter. End up leading by 16 at halftime. Magic play well in the third, and then they hold them to 15 in the fourth quarter. They end up winning by 22 points in this one. Huge game for Kawhi Leonard. As I said a minute ago, he goes 12 for 20 from the field. 34 points, 6 rebounds. Awesome scorer. Awesome scorer. Even better than when he was averaging 27 a game in San Antonio. I feel like he's taken a serious leap forward with kind of the contract situation, the trade situation, the new team. I feel like he's taken much more of an alpha role. A huge game for him. Not a great game for a lot of other people. Pascal Siakam, 16 points and 6 rebounds on 7 for 14 from the field. Good, not great. 16 points for Norman Powell on 7 for 9 shooting. That's pretty good. 4 rebounds off the bench. That'll be 21 minutes of action for him. Serge Ibaka off the bench. They do start Pau Gasol or Marc Gasol again. He gives you just 2 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists in 25 minutes. He takes just 3 shots in 25 minutes, while Ibaka off the bench in 20 minutes goes 5 for 6 and gives you 13 and 8. Big game there for Toronto. Obviously, they're up 3-1. Orlando, a good team, though. If anybody has the ability to do it, I would say Orlando probably has a better shot than the Clippers at coming back, or probably the Jazz even right now. Aaron Gordon for the Magic. He finishes with 25 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists on 10 for 17 shooting in 38 minutes. A lot of game action for him there. Evan Fournier in 35 minutes. He finishes with 19 points, 8 for 16 from the field, and 2 for 8 from downtown. The only other player in double digits for Orlando, 11 points for Nikola Vucevic, 5 for 14 from the field, 11 points and just 5 rebounds. Tough game. That's one of the worst games, at least of these playoffs, and even probably this whole season there for Vucevic. Like I said, Toronto's up 3-1. They're going to be going back home to Toronto. Game 5 is going to be tomorrow, and an early 11.5 point favorite there for the Orlando Magic. We'll talk about that tomorrow. All right, we move on to the last game of last night. Damian Lillard scores 15 and his 24 points in the third quarter. The Portland Trail Blazers held Russell Wilson without a single basket in the second half and beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 111-98 to take a 3-1 series lead going back to Portland in this one. A bit of a close game. It was a good watch. Portland was out in front by 5-10 pretty much the whole game and ended up winning by 13 points. Great game overall. Damian Lillard, like I said, 24 points, 8 assists, makes 4 threes, 7 for 19 shooting. Not the best shooting performance for him, but still ends up being clutch, especially in the third quarter. CJ McCollum, 27 points for him, 5 for 9 from downtown, 10 for 20 overall. He has a huge impact here on this victory, and he's actually been scoring better. It's kind of interesting to see how quickly he's come back from his injury. I don't know how many people expected that or kind of saw that coming. Tariq Aminu adds 4 3-pointers in this one. He finishes with 19 points and 9 rebounds as well. Big game. Mo Harkless, 15 and 10. Enes Kanter, just 4 shots, finishes with 8 points, 10 rebounds. Obviously, he was a huge force there at the beginning of the series. Big win. I mean, it's a huge win for the Blazers, and actually, even more so, it's a huge loss for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I did see, speaking of the Blazers, that it was their first road victory in the playoffs since 2016, so 3 years without a road victory. Obviously, they got swept the past 2 seasons, and last season they had home court advantage and still got swept by the Pelicans. For the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're led in scoring by Paul George. 32 points for him, 10 rebounds. He'll add 6 assists to that, 4 for 10 from free land for him, 8 for 21 overall, so it goes just 4 for 11 from 2, but leads the way, blazes it up. Plays a pretty damn good game there for him. Russell Westbrook, a tough performance. As I said, didn't make a basket in the second half. I believe he went 0 for 7 in the second half and finished with 1 point in the second half. He finishes overall 14 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 for 7 from downtown. Not terrible, but 5 for 21 overall. Really tough game for Russell Westbrook. Dennis Schroeder plays a decent amount of minutes off the bench, 28, just one less than Steven Adams played in the starting lineup. He finishes with 17 points, 3 and 3, on 2 for 6 from downtown and 6 for 12 overall. Steven Adams missing in action here on this one. 29 minutes, he goes 3 for 6 from the field, 6 points, 7 rebounds. Not a ton there. You're going to have some more production there. I know him and Cantor kind of, I guess, basic. Cantor actually played better. I mean, Cantor actually played a little bit better. You don't want that to be the case when Steven Adams is your third best player. He's got to outplay Enes Kanter, who, if you go back like 3 or 4 months, there were questions on whether or not he would even be on an NBA roster at this point. So that's a tough one there for the Oklahoma City Thunder. As I said, they're down 3-1. It's not looking fantastic at this point. They're going back to Portland. And their game will be tomorrow night in Portland, Game 5. Portland an early 3-point favorite. That's an interesting one. At least a spread to keep an eye on. Alrighty, that wraps up the games from the weekend. There's 2 games tonight in the NBA. It's going to be a TNT doubleheader. Not a huge slate of action here. And both of these games are going to be teams that are up 3-0 on the road, trying to close it out. The first one is in Detroit, where the Detroit Pistons host the Milwaukee Bucks. 6 p.m. on TNT. It looks like Blake Griffin is going to play. He's still listed as day-to-day with that knee injury, but it looks like he is going to play. The Milwaukee Bucks are going to be have 100% full roster. Everybody, well, I mean Malcolm Brogdon, but as far as like Mirotic is back, Foley, Middleton, Foley. So they're going to have minus Brogdon. They're going to have a full roster there. For them, they're going to be favored by 13 points on the road. You got to think that they're going to win by at least 10. They've won every game by at least 10. I think their average margin of victory is like 16 or 17 points in this 3 games so far this series. Tough one. It's going to be a tough one for Detroit. They're really going to have to reach down. Other people are going to have to fucking play well. It can't be just Blake Griffin who plays well in this game. Drummond is going to have a huge game on the boards. Reggie Jackson is going to have a big shooting game. Other than that, it's going to be a tough one. Maybe even a tough watch here on this one. Like I said, the Bucks are going to be favored by 13 points on the road, and ESPN's Pick Center is giving that spread consensus pick, the Milwaukee 13 points, a 76% chance. Tough country. And on to the 8:30 game tonight, again on TNT, the second half of the doubleheader. This one should be a much more interesting game to watch. In Salt Lake City, the Utah Jazz are going to be hosting Slick James and the Houston Rockets. There'll be no injured players on either side of the court here. Utah obviously down 3-0. Great home court advantage generally throughout the regular season. So, like I said earlier in the show, I thought that they would be favored here in Game 4. Houston's actually going to be a 3-point favorite. That's another thing I think might be interesting to take a look at. I don't know. Utah +3 at home. With as poorly as James Harden played the other day, I think that sounds like it's something that might be interesting here, though. Let's take a look at what ESPN thinks. They have 50-50. They have it leaning no way the 3-point Houston Rockets. I would guess there's a lot of money coming in on both sides in this one. And in this, Gobert, he's going to have to play huge. Gobert's going to really have to stifle Capella at the rim, and Faried at the rim. Obviously, James Harden. If James Harden has a good shooting night, like a truly good shooting night, they're going to win. If he doesn't, which happens a lot, or somewhat frequently, Utah's got a pretty goddamn shot at winning, but they're going to have a better shooting night than that 9 for 27 Donovan Mitchell performance from Saturday night. Either way, it's going to be a good watch. That'll be 8:30 on TNT this evening. All right, so that's going to take us to the end of the show. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. No spilled beers in this one, thank God. We're going to be back tomorrow with another NBA Today, and I believe we're going to be doing an NFL Draft special either tomorrow or the next day, and then another MLB that'll be Week 4 recap, and that will be coming either Wednesday or Thursday. I'm going to do a couple plugs here, like I said. Anywhere your podcast can be found, iTunes, Spreaker.com/intelligent thoughts, Podcast Addict, Stitcher, wherever you get your shit. Go ahead and subscribe, rate and review to Intelligent Thoughts. Give me a comment, say something, who cares. And also, Facebook, we have a page, Intelligent Thoughts, on Facebook. It's a pretty fun little interaction there. Go ahead and like that shit. Or don't. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Also on Twitter at IntelligentTho1, Intelligent THO, and the number 1. And then Instagram. Probably the best one of the three, honestly, is the Instagram page. I don't know why, but I guess it is. You're going to be looking at Intelligent D Thoughts. That's the word D, D-E. Intelligent D Thoughts on Instagram. That's fun shit. Alrighty. That's going to take us to the end of the show. See you tomorrow. You got some night owl. Hello.